dugsiyada nuuraddiin schools.
Bismillah, welcome to our online lessons. Have a Wednesday today. Today we're going to learn phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs is very important in your English studying. So introduction. So what is phrasal verbs first? We're going to discuss or talk about phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs is the combination of two standard verb and particles. Particles consist of prepositional and adverbs. A phrasal verb is the combination putting together combination of a standard verb such as make or put with one or two particles. Phrasal verbs is the combination of standard verb such as go, but, make, with one or two particles. Particles either prepositional or adverbs. In some cases, the particle is an adverb. Such as away is an adverb. Together, in other. It is a preposition such as through, in. For example, pass away. Pass away is a standard verb. Pass is a standard verb, but away is an adverb. So when we combine pass and away, we're gonna find phrasal verbs. Pull is a standard verb. Pull. But pull together is a phrasal verb. We combine pull and together, so we're gonna find a phrasal verb. Everybody knows the word go or the verb go. Go. But out, when we add out, is a phrasal verb. Break and out. Break is a standard verb, but when we add out, is a phrasal verb. So everybody, you have an idea or concept. What is phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs, number one, very common in spoken English. You know, written English and spoken English are different. Written English and spoken English are different. So in common, we're going to use very common in spoken English. When you are speaking, you're going to use so many phrasal verbs. But in writing, it's not. You're going to use a standard verb. So people always use spoken English because spoken English is different from written English. Number two, verb, prepositional and adverb. What is a phrasal verb? Prepositional and adverb. Many times, number three, creates meaning different from the original verb. I wanted to explain you number three. Point number three. When you add the word look, for example, look. Everybody knows the word look. Look out of the window. But if I add for, is a phrasal verb. For. So it creates meaning different from the original meaning. For example, original meaning. So look is the original meaning, but for, when I add for, is a phrasal verb, so it's different. Many times it can be replaced by synonymous. Normally, use it in more formal situation. For example, what is the synonymous for look for? Look for. I'm looking for my pen. I'm looking for my book. It means search. So I'm searching for my book. For example, this picture shows us look. He's looking something. But this one, he's looking for something. He has something, so it means search. He's searching for something. And this one, he's looking for something. So they are different. This is the original meaning, but this one is a phrasal verb when we add var. What about phrasal verb transitive and intransitive verbs? You know, phrasal verbs can be transitive, and intransitive verbs. Transitive and intransitive verbs. You have an idea about transitive and intransitive verbs. So what are they? When the verb has an object, we say it's transitive. For example, the cat killed the rat. Or I wrote a letter. It's a transitive verb. Wrote has an object. So if this verb has an object, we're going to say it's a transitive. But intransitive, verb that doesn't need an object. For example, she died. Or I slept. So it can be separable or not separable. What are they? Separable and separable. For example, sit down, it's separable. Turn the light off. We can say turn the light off. Turn. We're gonna write in two ways. Turn off. Turn off the light. Turn off the light. Turn off the light. Turn off the light and turn the light off. So the turn is a standard verb, but off, when we add off, is a phrasal verb. So here we have a phrasal verb. So turn the light off is a separable. Separable. Some phrasal verb can be separable, some others cannot be, can be not separable. So we cannot separate some phrasal verbs, but this one can be separated, and we put the object between the particle and the standard verb. So this is the standard verb, and this is the particle. So if the object is the middle of the particle and the standard verb, we're going to say it's separable. It's a separable. Turn, another way we can say turn off the light. So the two ways are correct. Phrasal verb transitive and intransitive. Transitive and intransitive. Separable or not separable. Sit down. Turn the light off, please. They can be, you have already take this one. They can be intransitive, not separable. Intransitive, it means not separable. They can be intransitive, not separable. Not separable. Or transitive may be separable, depending on whether they take a direct object. If the verb take a direct object, we're going to say it is separable. But if it's intransitive, we're going to say it's not separable. So not separable means transitive verbs can be used not separable. What about phrasal verb transitive? We're going to continue. Transitive phrasal verbs, type 1. Transitive phrasal verbs, type 1. Type 1. They cannot be followed by a direct object. What is intransitive verbs? Intransitive verbs, you must understand. They cannot be followed by a direct object. If they are not followed by direct object, so they are separable. They are separable. They are not separable. They are not separable. For example, intransitive, remember, intransitive phrasal verbs, they cannot be followed a direct object. So they are not separable. For example, sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up. There is no object in here. So sit down and shut up, they are inseparable and they are not separable. So we're going to say they are intransitive verbs. So intransitive verbs can be not separable. What about, we're going to continue intransitive phrasal verb. They cannot be followed by direct object, so they are not separable. Transitive and transitive phrasal verbs. They can be flowed by direct object. What are transitive phrasal verbs? Transitive phrasal verbs, they can be flowed by a direct object. So if the phrasal verb has a direct object, so they may be separable. They may be separable. Transitive phrasal verbs will be separable depending on the particle. Transitive phrasal verbs will be separable, but it depends on the particles. It may be an adverb. Particle can be an adverb or preposition. So particle, you have two, either adverb or phrasal verbs. When the particle is a preposition, when the particle is a preposition, look here. When the particle is a preposition, phrasal verbs are inseparable. Very important point. When the particle is a preposition, phrasal verbs are separable. The object is placed after the preposition. Type 2. For example, I am looking for my heated sweatshirt. So this is a phrase, this is a preposition, this is a phrasal verb. Looking for is a phrasal verb. But for is not an adverb. Because phrasal verbs, we're going to combine two particles, either adverbs or preposition. So if you have a preposition, it can be inseparable. For example, I am looking for my pen. For, is it adverb or preposition? It's an adverb. It's a preposition. So it cannot be, it cannot be inseparable. I am looking for it. Say, I'm looking for it. Don't say, I am looking it for. So do not put it or my heated sweats in between the silent verb and the for, look and for. For example, it's incorrect to say, I am looking my heated sweats for. It's incorrect. But it's, I am looking for my heated sweatshirt. So for is a preposition. It's not an adverb. Because when we want to combine silent verb and particles, particle consists of two, adverb and preposition. So for is a preposition. So it can be, it could be a separable. What about transitive phrasal verb will be separable particle? It may be an adverb or preposition. When the particle is an adverb, remember, you have to remember, when the particle is a preposition, phrasal verbs are inseparable. Remember, when the particle is a preposition, you have two particles. This is the main point of our lesson. When the particle is a preposition, phrasal verbs are inseparable. But when the particle is an adverb, phrasal verbs is separable. We can separate. The object can be placed between. The object can be placed between the verb and the adverb. He turned on the television. So turn on is an adverb. It's not preposition. He turned on the television. We can two ways. He turned the television on. So if the particle is an adverb, yes, the phrasal verbs are separable. So this is separable. This is separable. He turned the television on. This is the silent verb, and this is the adverb. So it's separable. He turned it. This is the subject, and this is the silent verb, and this is the object, and this particle. Especially, it's an adverb. It works as an adverb. You know, on is a preposition, but in this case, it works or it functions as an adverb. Particle and adverb. Warning. What is this warning? What is this warning? Sometimes the object of phrasal verbs is a pronoun. Me is a pronoun. You is a pronoun. Him is a pronoun. Her is a pronoun. It is a pronoun. Us is a pronoun. Them is a personal pronouns, especially they are objectives. So you must put, remember, you must put the object between the verb and the adverb. When you have this one is, you should put the object between the verb and the adverb. If the object is a pronoun. For example, he turned it on. Do not say he turned it on it. It's incorrect to say he turned it. He turned it. He turned it. It turned it. I mean, we cannot say he turned it on it. He turned it on it. It's incorrect. It's incorrect. So which one is correct? He turned it on, or I saw them off. Another example, I saw them off. I saw them off. Do not say I saw of them. It's incorrect. And not he turned it on it. This is incorrect. He turned it on it. It's incorrect. But the correct one is turn it on. When you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 personal pronouns. If you have 7 personal pronouns, you must put the object between the verb and adverb. If the object is a pronoun, this one. We are talking about these personal pronouns. Okay. What about adverbial prepositional verbs? Adverbial prepositional verbs. Two particle phrasal verbs can be transitive or intransitive. They are generally used inseparable. If the particles are two, for example, both and with, we gotta say adverbial prepositional adverbs. So I can't both are with him. Do not say I can't both with him. It's inseparable. So you cannot put here him is the object of the sentence. We cannot put here. You can't say I can't put him up with. That's incorrect. But the correct answer is, or the correct case is, I can't put up with him. It means I can't tolerate. So the particle, you have the sign of verbs both, but you have two particles in this case, up and with. Since you have two particles, it's inseparable. It's inseparable. It means you cannot put the object between the particle and the sign of verb. I can't put up with him any longer. It's a transitive. Okay, how are you getting on with your Japanese classes? It's intransitive. So if you have two particles, we're gonna use, it's generally inseparable. It's generally inseparable. Okay. What about particles? What are the particles? Particles. Deep. Particles are part of verb phrase, and they are often change the meaning of the verb. For example, this preposition. He looked up at the sky. Scraper. He looked up. Look up. Look up. This is preposition. It's not adverb. So he looked. Look is a sign verb, but up is a particle. Especially, it's a preposition. At the skyscraper, because it connects or relate the pronoun he and the skyscraper. But what about this one? She looked up a word in the dictionary. This is a particle. Yeah, it's a particle. Especially it's an adverb. So look up, sometimes look at the sky. And look up, another meaning, two meanings. It means search a word in the dictionary. He looked up at the skyscraper. It's a preposition. He looked up a word in her dictionary. She looked up a word in her dictionary. So thank you very much for your watching. I hope you good luck. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.